came as quite the surprise out here at the Sterling Heights assembly plant on Friday when they started handing out 199 indefinite layoff notices to employees here, especially when you consider that they make the bread and butter for this company, the Ram 1500 pickup truck.
And we're back with another video. Today I just wanted to address this huge layoff that just took place in the Sterling Heights plant where they assemble the Ram 1500 pickups, and it's terribly sad, and certainly I have tons of empathy and sympathy for those who've lost their jobs. And part of the reason I do these videos, one, is to spread awareness about what's taking place in the automotive industry, mostly with the Dodge, Ram, Jeep, Chrysler products, and help you all foresee opportunity where you can capitalize and benefit from changes that are taking place, slowdowns in the marketplace, strategic moves with dealers, how to negotiate better cars, better car prices, and better loans, and all that fun stuff. And in this situation, what's really unfortunate is when we start seeing these layoffs happen all over the place with these automakers, and it's not just Stellantis, but certainly Stellantis appears to be leading the march when it comes to this stuff, mostly because, in my opinion, self-inflicted wounds that they continue to inflict upon themselves with this ridiculous over-focus on EVs, rather than taking a note from what Ford did and building an EV that would sell, that would be very cheap, that would help them build their carbon credits and allow them to sell the cars that people love with V8s. But since they didn't do that, they refused to do that, and they refused to allow Tim Kuniskis to go buy any carbon credits from anywhere, that at this point they're going to continue to double and triple down on this, which means more and more layoffs and continued layoffs. So this is not the last of it. They are being brazen in saying it.
Stellantis' response tells us it's just the beginning, though. Quote, the company will be implementing indefinite layoffs across its U.S. footprint over the coming months. These actions will help improve productivity and ensure the company's long-term sustainability in a rapidly changing global market.
Now, I do want to also address that there is some belief out there that the UAW went to war with all the automakers, and Stellantis held out. I believe they were the ones that held out the longest and fought the hardest, and ultimately had the deepest pockets to be able to do so. And ultimately, the second they acquiesced and said, okay, we'll agree to your demands at whatever level they did, that pretty much set in stone that mass layoffs are going to happen. Because the drop in business is about 15%, according to some of the articles I've read, with the Ram 1500 pickup, and yet they're laying off, massive amounts of people that have anything to do with the assembly of those because of the oversupply. So everyone thought that the strike might last longer than it did, which means they would be undersupplied on cars. Well, that's not what happened. But they ramped up production. Remember, Stellantis had thought they were brilliant in ramping up production before they knew a strike was imminent.
And he looks to higher inflation and last fall's stand-up strike as part of why this is happening.
Where they had built up proper vehicles before the strike, and then the strike didn't last as long as it wasn't as deep as they expected, so there's extra vehicles there.
And as a result, with the strike not lasting as long as they thought it would, they ended up with an oversupply. So they went into first quarter of this year with way too many cars and trucks, and now they're sitting on massive amounts of inventory, and they don't need all these people. So when I say self-inflicted, is every company had a strategy on how they're going to get through these strikes. Stellantis' strategy was to outsmart the auto workers and create a situation where they had tons of inventory and they could ride right through that thing like it was nothing and ultimately win. Well, here's how they're going to win now, because they did put themselves in a good position. The problem is the demand for their cars is not there and their trucks is not there. So now they're in a position that they can't sell their cars and trucks, so they have to lay off more people. And they use the statements like, to be more productive. Tell me how in the hell you could be more productive with less people. That can't happen. The reality of it is the cars that they're going to be coming out with and the trucks they're going to be coming out with are likely not going to be as desirable. So now the challenge for all the dealers is how are they going to move these new cars? How are they going to move these new trucks? So that's why I believe no matter how you cut it, you're going to see more and more layoffs. But what does that mean for all of us? I believe it means that we're going to get better deals on trucks. We're going to get better deals on cars. The challenge is a lot of the stuff that they're going to be coming out with, especially in the Dodge universe, is going to be the electric stuff. And I would expect that there's a good chance those don't sell like they think they're going to sell. And my conversations that I've had one-on-one behind the scenes with Dodge salespeople and dealers, they've made it clear they are not excited about this EV thing. One dealer told me this weekend that they have challenges keeping any of their electric cars, even their used car inventory, charged, and any of their new stuff charged. So the challenge is they've got their plug-in hybrids, they've got their existing cars with car batteries. They can't even keep all those charged because of the amount of inventory, which leads to all kinds of things like lot rot, which is dead batteries and bad tires and fluids and all that fun stuff. But now with EVs, they're going to get all these EVs, and they've got to keep all those EVs charged, so when people come in to test drive them, they can actually test drive them. So they are looking forward to these things for many reasons. One, they don't think they're going to sell. Two, they think they're going to be too expensive. Three, they're underwhelming. And four, it's going to make selling cars, storing cars on their lots, storing cars in their off-site storage areas a challenge. I saw an article the other day from the car dealership guy where he was sharing a story about a dealership that had EVs getting shipped, and because the EVs were so heavy, they couldn't ship all the cars on the truck despite there being room for them, but they couldn't because of the weight. So because of the weight, they had to make 2 trips, which significantly increased their shipping costs. So more issues tied to the EVs the dealers are already talking about, already frustrated and worried about, which all goes back to less sales, more layoffs. So that means for us, better deals on cars, lower prices, because inventory is going to continue to balloon. And I do believe dealers are going to be really, really wanting our used cars, because the used cars are going to be easier to make profit on and easier to sell, and compared to a lot of these 6-cylinder trucks or EV cars. So will that mean our prices will go up on our used cars? I don't see that happening tremendously, but I think it does help stabilize them a little bit, and it does at the very least keep them from dropping as fast. So that's good news. We've already seen a big enough drop at this point that I don't see them just cratering a whole bunch more, like to an extent that it's going to be really painful. But the dealers are going to want them, and they're really going to want them if you'll buy one of the new things, because then they get a couple deals out of it. They get sale of a new car, they pick up the used car to be able to sell the used car, so they can do financing on all these things and sell add-ons and all that other stuff. But if you watch my last video, it's going to be harder and harder to do the financing on those things. But I'll tell you right now, used car financing, I think, is going to be the hot ticket coming into the middle of this year, towards the end of this year, because the cars will have already depreciated. The new stuff, the new Dodge stuff and Ram stuff will be coming out. It'll be less desirable, and the banks are going to realize they're going to be in better shape on these things than they would be on the brand new cars that experience massive depreciation, mainly due to, most likely, Stellantis wildly overpricing those things. So lots of good things for us, sad things for the auto workers with Stellantis. Nobody likes to see people losing their jobs. Nobody wants to see this stuff taking place. But Stellantis made their bet. They knew what they were doing when they pushed tons and tons of inventory to be built before the strike, and now they're shocked because nobody wants to buy them. And we're sitting in a high interest rate market with all kinds of other challenges, and they plan to ship a whole bunch of EVs out to dealerships, which, by the way, let's just wrap up with this. Imagine this. So you've got a car hauler, and you're used to hauling around cars that weigh anywhere between 3,000 and 4,000 pounds, maybe 4,500 pounds. Normal Dodge Chargers and Challengers. And now you've got to fit the same amount of cars, but each car with those EVs are going to be, the new Daytona, are going to be 5,800 pounds. So that means that these cars are going to be over, about 1,400 or 1,500 pounds heavier per car than the regular beasts, which these Dodge Chargers and Challengers are, we're talking 1,400 to 1,500 pounds heavier, heavier than these things are on the same car haulers. That's not going to happen. And it makes me wonder, have they thought this through? Now, I think it's going to be a challenge. When you think about the weight of a Ram 1500 truck, which is right around that 5,000 pounds, you're looking at 800 pounds more per car for a Dodge Charger Daytona. And I don't know how many cars fit on those things. What is it, 10 cars on there? So 10 times 800, another 8,000 pounds. This should get interesting. We should be able to have a lot of interesting and entertaining content as those EVs start to get shipped out there. But back to the layoffs, just a sad time, and more sad times to come. So if I was a Stellantis employee right now, I would be looking for another job, and I'd be exiting stage left. Now, here's the deal. The reason why people don't is they know they're going to get severance packages. They know they're going to get something to tide them over for a period of time. So that means they have to live in a perpetual state of fear of what day is the layoff coming. They know it's coming. They just don't know what day. So they wait because they want to get that severance package. Personally, I would rather say goodbye to them than wait for them to say goodbye to me and go find another job and just keep working. So if you're a Stellantis employee, and by the way, I've read on Reddit all of your posts, and so many of you, and these Stellantis employees are not happy. They are really upset, and the things they're saying about the company are horrible. It is, go read the stuff. I won't read them to you, but it's really horrible how people feel about that company. But if I was you, I would be out looking for other jobs right now and just say goodbye to them before they say goodbye to you. Just go. And if you're not one of the ones that would have gotten laid off, at least you don't have to live in that perpetual state of fear. At least you don't have to live in that perpetual state of fear wondering what day are they going to come get you. Because I'd be figuring out how the hell to get off of that sinking ship, because it's not going to get better, especially with this EV crap that they're going to be delivering to us and the dumbed down trucks and everything else. So with that, everybody, just wanted to share the news with you, the story, and how it's going to affect us. So with that, please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
When it comes to that bloated inventory, Fiorani says he expects to see these kinds of layoffs happen at the Warren truck plant where they make the Wagoneer, and also at Jeep plants in Detroit and Toledo. In Sterling Heights, Rod Maloney, Local 4.